My name is Valentina Schippers-Opejko. I am coordinating on behalf of the City of Haarlem in the Netherlands an urban agenda partnership on innovative and responsible public procurement and European network of cities, regions, member states and expert organizations. And I'm also chair of Eurocities working group on public procurement and of course APA expert and also collaborating with Urbact and TAIEX. So today I would like to give you a few practical examples, and when I tried to choose which of the practical examples I would like to share with you, I thought and I have chosen the most low-hanging fruit, so examples that the optimal could be embedded in other European organizations. So I hope you will like it. So City of Haarlem is a mid-sized city situated in the western part of the Netherlands. And you're very welcome to visit Haarlem, of course. But next to it, it's a historical city. It's an innovative city as well. We're experimenting a lot. And in 2019, they did a benchmark, and it's on the second place as a most innovative friendly procurement using in the whole Netherlands after Schiphol, and Schiphol is Dutch most known Amsterdam airport. And in 2020, Haarlem won Procure Plus award in category Procurement Initiative of the Year. And I will tell you more about this particular procurement because it's really interesting and includes different aspects such as and innovation and circularity and sustainability, but also social aspects and also participation of stakeholders. And in 2022, we won Innovation City Award with the different projects, innovative projects we did. And all innovative projects, we used public procurement as a strategic tool. And it's about innovative energy contract. So, as you know, the issues issues in the energy market is it's a big regulated market, and very often you can read in the newspapers that it's often is compared with the greenwashing. There is no direct influence on direct production of green energy. So we at the City of Haarlem, we struggled also with this issue, and we have chosen for innovative energy contract. We used pre-commercial procurement in order to get this solution. And Eleni, in the first part of this session today, already explained very nicely how does it work. So I will not repeat it again, but you recognize this roadmap already. So what we did, our struggle was, okay, due to the war in Ukraine, the energy prices rise, and we needed energy, and preferably green and renewable energy. But we thought, okay, if we would realize or to buy wind turbines or put huge solar parks in the area of Haarlem, it would cost millions of euros, and it would take at least 3 or 4 years. So we didn't have that much money, and we didn't have so much time. So we tried to use a different, more innovative approach. And we consulted the market consultation, we did the pre-commercial procurement, And that the solution we found through this procedure is that it's also possible to procure energy not as a product but as a service. So how does it work? I will try to explain. We found one company who is kind of creating, facilitating local market energy place. It means that, for example, citizens of the city of Haarlem who have solar panels on their roofs, and they do not use all that energy for their households, so they produce more than they need. Or for example, if there are some companies in the Harlem areas, some entrepreneurs who also produce more sustainable energy that they need for their business or production. So, for example, they have big water pump installations and they produce more than they need, or they have solar panels, or they have, for example, small wind turbines produce renewable energy. All these citizens and entrepreneurs and businesses, they can connect to this local energy market. And through the artificial intelligence and through algorithm, this company redirect this energy to places in Harlem where energy is needed. So it's a locally produced energy from one hand, and from other hand, you know for sure that it's a green energy you are using in the parts of Harlem area where it's needed. So it's a very, very nice solution. And what we see is that by using it, we solve this huge problem that a lot of European public authorities experience as well. And the costs of what we are paying to this company to facilitate this local energy market is only around 50,000 euros. If you compare it to millions of euros, if you would like to create a new wind turbine park or solar park, it's of course, let's say, very, very cheap and very replicable also in other parts of Europe. We checked with our legal department if it's allowed regarding EU laws, and the energy law says they allow this possibility to use it that way. And what we also see later is that some other new challenges are rising. And the first has to do with the behavior, and the second one with the using more efficiently that energy. Because you can imagine that if you see that a lot of citizens and companies from the area who have solar panels connected to this energy market, they of course can redirect this energy to places when needed, but only, of course, when the sun is shining, when there's solar panels producing energy. But during the night, there is still need on energy and renewable energy, and it cannot be produced. Or, for example, other limitations with the wind turbines. They are, of course, working only when the wind is blowing. So it means that you can only have energy when the wind is blowing, but if it's not, you still need energy. So the second challenge what I mentioned is it creates also need to save energy in order to use it during the times or day or night periods where energy is still needed but not is producing at that time. So we need batteries that we could charge and use in other periods. Those kind of batteries do not exist in the sufficient level yet. So another challenge, behavior challenge, is more feasible one in this moment, but we hope, of course, that the batteries will be that this possibility will be possible in the future, as everything developing very quickly at this moment. But the behavior challenge is about, okay, if you know that the most energy will be produced, for example, during the day because of the solar panels, maybe we should adjust our energy usage as much as possible. Of course, it's not always possible for 100%, but as much as possible to the production. So, for example, in the Netherlands, Netherlands is below the sea level, and it means that a lot of regions have to pump water away in order to that we can still have dry feet, as we say in the Netherlands. So it means that in order to not become our houses underwater, we have to pump it with big water pumps away. And these water pumps, as you can imagine, they use a lot of energy. In the past, we let these water pumps working during the night. But now, as we see that the renewable energy is produced during the day, for a quite big part because of the solar panels, we are going to switch it to work during the day. Or, for example, if you have in your household washing machine or dryer, instead of to do it only at that time, you put it in the evening, late in the evening, for example, you can also adjust your behavior and adjust your usage of your energy to the times that it is produced, for example, during the day or when the wind is blowing. So there are some possibilities and challenges still to solve, but as a concept, it's a very nice one. I show you also on this, see this matching principle and the when it's produced and how you can use this energy. Okay, so another example is about sustainable road and waterworks. This is the particular procurement we won Procura Plus award with, and this is was very big procurement, 20 million euros each year, and for a period at least of 4 years. But just give you an impression what kind of innovative solution we've got using procurement as a strategic tool. So we used also award criteria, and we asked in the award criteria that if that the subscribing companies would contribute to our strategy on circularity, sustainability, they will get extra points. And through this motivation of the market parties, we've got an interesting innovative solution. So, for example, they developed an app on the smartphone, and normally, if in this due to this app, they could exchange their materials that they do not need anymore. So, for example, if they make roads, they have normally they would need some sand, for example, for some parts of the road, and normally they would need they would buy a new clean sand, and they had to transfer it to pick up or to transfer to transport it to the place where the road is where is needed. But another company, for example, they have sand, but they do not need it anymore. So normally, for the waste, for big waste, you have to pay in the Netherlands. So they normally had to transport this old waste sand to the other place. But now through this app, the one company says, I have this sand, I do not need it anymore. And another company, they need sand, they say, oh, I will take it over from you. The advantage is that waste became a raw material. And another advantage is that less transportation, less CO2, less carbon emission. And it's also the movements are less, of course, so it is more efficient. I have to say, of course, every advantage has also probably disadvantage, because the company who would need new sand, they are used to use clean new sand. Of course, they will save money by taking over the old or used sand, but there are also a bit different technical specification of this old sand. It behaves a bit different than the new one. So they have to adjust probably their procedures or way of working in order to make use of the reused sand possible. But because they save money for buying a new sand, they can also put this money or use part of this money for adjusting their procedures to make it work and reuse materials. We also organized local hubs instead of have a lot of transportation, self-sufficient shacks, solar panels, but also another very funny example is how to increase biodiversity in your city, and it's very low-hanging fruit actually. So you can imagine we have roads in Holland, in the Netherlands, and normally we had beautiful tulips between the roads, and that one of the companies suggested to use felt flowers instead of only tulips. So felt plants and flowers, the seeds are much more cheaper than you would buy tulips. And big advantage of the felt flowers and plants is that it's not only one piece, like tulips is only one piece of flower, but there are very, very different. And because there are different flowers and different plants, more insects coming. It's better for biodiversity for the insects in the city. And if there are more insects in the city, also more birds and other insect-eating animals are coming to the city as well. So we measured in the beginning, before starting with this pilot, and after that, and we saw that the biodiversity in the city through this solution is increased. And I mean that the tulips are beautiful, but the flowers are beautiful too, and increases biodiversity, and is much cheaper and less maintenance in the bit, for the people who are carrying the plants and the green in the city. Okay. So what we also did, we stimulated participation of the stakeholders in this particular procurement. So how we did that? We published on the website different solutions, and the stakeholders, citizens, social entrepreneurs, and everyone, or small medium enterprises in that area, they could choose vote for the option most appealing option for them, or most attractive option. Okay. We also used social return on investment in this procurement. It means that 5% of the total procurement amount, the company who wins, or companies who won the tender, have to spend it to create new jobs. And one of the polling questions you filled in is housing and employment of refugees. And regarding employment, we also give possibility through this social return on investment to create new jobs also for refugees. And our experience is that in the first stage, the companies are a bit, how does it work? But once they have disabled people or refugees, they create jobs for them, they see the enormous added value of these people, because they see they can also contribute very, very well to the working process, and to the dynamics and more diversity in the company as well. And also they're seeing getting people happier through because they work, because they have more money to care their family. So it's a very social and positive experience. In interviews, what the companies who are doing that telling us. So it's you can also use strategic procurement in order to create and to solve this problem with employment. And you could also ask to come with some solutions for even for housing. And maybe you will get also interesting insights or interesting possibilities or solutions for that. Some lessons learned of this sustainable road and waterworks procurement is that as sooner you involve and you inform market parties, and you telling them that you are planning to do that, as more time they have to investigate in research and development, and later to come up with a solution you would be happy with, or you would need for your specific procurement. Also, capacity building is very important, and work with different scenarios.